Well, let's bring in Sami Al-Arian into the discussion. He's a director at the Center for Islam and Global Affairs at the Istanbul Sabahattin Zaim University. He joins me live from Istanbul. Appreciate you taking the time. Let's just start with the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. I was speaking to a colleague earlier and he said that Guterres sounded like a military analyst when he said that this attack with the exploding pages and exploding walkie-talkies was obviously a precursor to a major military offensive. What do you think that offensive will look like?
Well, it's not clear to me that there will be an offensive, because what Netanyahu was trying to do all along was to provoke Hezbollah and Iran into a major escalation of the war. He wants a war in the north, but he doesn't want to fight it by himself. He wants the United States to be a part of it. And the U.S. has been basically trying to restrain him. The United States doesn't want this war, particularly just before the elections. And that's what he's been trying to do. These 2 days, in the past 2 days, he's been trying to provoke Iran and Hezbollah in a major way so that they could escalate this war. But it appears to me that Hezbollah is not going to be intimidated. It will retaliate against these killings, these terrorist attacks. But at the same time, it's not going to escalate this into a major war.
So you don't think that with Hezbollah seemingly weakened and, let's just say, in disarray, certainly in terms of communication, you don't think that Israel will go after them while they're weakened?
Well, if the United States said to Israel, we're not going to join you in this war effort, and I think all indicators says that this is the position of the U.S. right now, then Israel is not going to risk and go into war by itself. Of course, Netanyahu and his war cabinet could actually try to escalate and take this risk by trying to escalate and hope that the U.S. would join. But I think we have seen several indicators in which the U.S. said it's not going to join, or at least at this point where there is no real provocation from the other side. On the other hand, I don't think Hezbollah has been diminished. Yes, it is a setback, but it is just a small setback when we look at the capabilities of the Hezbollah and the damage that they can inflict in Israel. If there is a major war, then I don't think Israel is going to go all the way and try to destroy Lebanon the way it has destroyed Gaza, for the simple fact that the northern of Israel, all these industrial complexes in Haifa and in the surroundings, will also be hit hard.
US Secretary of State Antony Blinken's been pleading ignorance over this, saying, well, the US needs to find out what's happened before it can really comment. Do you believe him? Do you believe the US knew nothing about that this was going to happen?
Of course not. I mean, the Hebrew media has been talking about it. The US was informed few minutes, according to the Hebrew media, about what's going to happen just a few minutes before it actually happened. They said that Gallant called the Secretary of Defense and informed him that this is going to happen so that they will not be caught by surprise. So for Blinken to play ignorant, that's what he's been doing all along. I mean, Blinken is part and parcel of the problem and has been complicit in every step of the way during this genocidal war.
Sami, pleasure to speak to you. Thanks for your assessment. Sami Al-Arian, who's the director at the Center for Islam and Global Affairs at Istanbul Sabahattin Zaim University.